Today on DJ Does Tech, we are going to be going over a DIY controller mod kit titled Purple Haze from Gamenetics. If you want to get one, go to their website and use code DJButt for 10% off your order. First things first, we've got to get the package open. When I spoke with their customer service line, they were able to figure out a way to get me a controller and a DIY kit. So just keep it in mind, when you order this DIY kit, it will not come with a controller like mine did. Now on to business. My first thing that I wanted to go over about this controller kit is this cool letter that they send in every controller that you buy from them. This is a card with a picture of every team member on it, and signed below is the team member that personally assembled your controller box. Mine was assembled by Summer. Thank you very much, Summer. And of course, the very cool controller holder case. Inside this controller case is, of course, the new Purple Haze skin with the Purple Haze back, required buttons, which are all in the smooth black color orientation, and included tools to be able to assemble and disassemble the controller. My number one piece of advice is to always make sure that you have a clean desk space to make sure that you have plenty of room for your projects that you're working on. Then I like to kind of lay out my tools and see what I've got and what I've got to work with. The tools that you are going to need for this project are as follows. Number one is a pry tool. You'll need this to get the back panels off of the controller. Number two is a T8 screwdriver, which you can find at any Home Depot or local maintenance store. And then, of course, number three is a rag. You're going to be needing this rag to clean up basically every mess that your controller can make and to be able to softly and easily peel off the panels of the controller. Step one to disassembling the controller is to peel off the sticker located inside the battery compartment. Make sure to peel it off all the way, and this will reveal a T8 screw, which is where your screwdriver comes in handy. Now that that screw is out, this is where the hard part comes in. You're going to need that pry tool and that rag that I mentioned earlier. And essentially what you're going to do is wrap that pry tool with your towel so as to not damage the controller, and shove that pry tool in through the trigger of the controller. Don't worry, you're not going to break the controller, but still be careful. This is what you have to do to be able to pop off the back panels of the controller. After a few moments, I finally got the first one off. And as always, second time's the charm. Again, make sure to be careful while doing this, but also give it plenty of strength. Now that you've got those two back panels off, you'll notice that there are 4 screws in total, 2 on each side. What you're going to want to do is get rid of these screws. Take them out. Careful with these screws next to the triggers though, as they are magnetized into the controller, so you might need to use your pry tool to get them out. As you can see, I had a little bit of difficulty with both of them. This one probably took longer than all of them. But again, just be careful, and with a little bit of finagling, you can get it out too. Now that you've done that, it is time to disassemble the controller. As you can see with those 4 screws out, it is pretty easy to separate the back of the controller from the actual motherboard. Same thing with the front. Now you want to be careful because there are some delicate wires in here. Just make sure not to tug and pull on them unless you know how to solder and have a soldering iron. To be able to get to the buttons, there are some screws that are located on the circuit boards throughout the controller. I'm kind of pointing to them with my screwdriver here. You'll want to take those out to be able to swap out the buttons. Then, once you've done that, it's time to remove the joysticks, which is pretty simple. Grab it and pull. Once that's done, I know I hate to say it, there are a couple more screws that you've got to get, and they're a little bit more hidden this time. I'm pointing to them now with my screwdriver. Make sure to get these off, otherwise you are not going to be able to swap out the buttons. Then once you've done that, it's pretty simple. Just snap and play. As you can see, I've already worked out the bumpers and the sync button, and you'll do this exact same process with all of the buttons throughout the controller, until eventually you're left with the final product. As always, thanks everybody for watching. Links to GameNetic's website and my socials are in the description below. Make sure to use my code DJBUT for 10% off your order. Thanks everybody!